takes a few seconds. Okay, we're live now. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. Here's Let's Talk Rock and Roll with the Jets.
Hello there.
Fabulous Jets.
Hello. Hi.
If I just show you the comments, and I hope you can see the comments here. Can you on the screen?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
We can't see the comments. No.
Okay, maybe it's hidden for you, but I will bring the comments that, with the questions on the big screen, and then you can see them. So welcome everybody to the show. The first question I got before the live stream, actually, great band. Are they from Birmingham?
No, we're not. We're from Northampton. Northampton. It's about 50 miles south of Birmingham.
Oh, so it's not too far.
Not too far. In fact, we always say it's in between. In the position of the country, it's in between London and you have Birmingham there, and we're in the middle.
All right. Okay. Cool. So we have some guests from Bavaria, Germany, and this guy from Northern Germany, and we're just waiting for some more people to come in.
Yeah.
And so my first question is always, and I think it was pretty like similar for us. How did you get started with rock and roll, like listening to the music and also playing the music? I know the story already, but I think it's really interesting how you got into rock and roll. So
I mean, we've obviously talked about it lots over all these years, but even now we still get lots of people asking, where did you get your original name? When did you start? Why did you start? And yeah, we actually started in 1974. That's how long ago. So next year will be 50 years. Oh, that's amazing, really. But 50 years. So, but yeah, we was all in an organisation called the Boys Brigade, and
is that like scouts or something?
It's like a youth organisation, like the Scouts, and we at the time, myself and Ray was both in a marching band. So I was a drummer, Ray was a drummer. Tony was very young. He eventually did try to get in the band, but they said, "Nah, you're not very good. You'll have to be a trumpet player."
How old are we talking then?
I was 8.
How old was you?
I was about
8.
I must have been 15, maybe 14.
Yeah,
15.
I've probably been at 13.
Yeah, been about 12, 13.
12, 13. When we were doing that.
So, but we had an open night in the Boys Brigade, and everyone had to either march or tell jokes, sing a song, do some acrobatics. And we decided, myself and Ray, with a couple of school friends, Andy and Dave. In fact, Dave was in the Boys Brigade. Andy wasn't, I don't think.
I don't know. I can't remember.
But we decided with 2 other school friends that we'd form this little rock and roll band after watching the band Shawaddy Waddy, believe it or not, on the television, on a talent show.
New Faces.
On New Faces. Mind you, this was 1974.
Oh, did they just show Waddy Waddy? I only saw them like in the early 80s, but did they get started in the early 70s?
Yeah, it was a talent show in 1974, yeah. And I think they won the talent show. And we've seen them doing Chain Gang, Boney Maroney, and maybe a couple of other songs. And we thought, oh, this is pretty good. I mean, at the time it seemed really good, you know. And we thought, oh. So we formed this bit of a band and learnt 6 different songs, Rock Around the Clock, Boney Maroney, Shaking All Over.
I don't think it was as complex as that. I think it was Blue Suede Shoes.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah. Johnny Be Good. It was like...
Oh, I don't think we do Johnny Be Good. We couldn't play that. I was the guitarist.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Bing bong bong. Yeah. So, no, that was complicated.
I was the drummer on those ones.
Yeah, so in those early days, I was the guitarist.
Yeah.
It was basically Bob, Ray, Andy, Dave. So it was B-R-A-D, Brad. So it was Bob on lead guitar.
Lead? Loosely termed.
I was the only one with an electric guitar. So we had one electric guitar. We had a small drum kit. In fact, the microphone stand we made out of wood, and we had to have a big stone on the bottom so that it didn't fall over. And so it was Bob, myself, I on guitar and vocals. Ray done some vocals and drums. Andy, he played an ordinary acoustic guitar, but he played the bass strings, bob, 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 like that, you know.
Yeah.
And we had one other guitarist, he just strummed some chords. That was Dave.
Yeah.
And that's how Brad started, really. He's playing 6 songs. Yeah.
We didn't have any equipment then. We had one 3-watt amplifier.
Not
then.
But yeah, it was.
Oh yes, you did. I used the 3-watt amplifier,
which we've still got.
But we used to sing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We used to sing through a reel-to-reel tape recorder.
Yeah.
If you
Switch to record.
If you press record, play and record, the speaker would work. So you could sing in the microphone, and it'd come out this tiny
little speaker about that big
on a little reel-to-reel that we stood on the front of the stage, and that was it.
It really sounded like the old blues records. Really but we was just messing about. It was just something to do on that night, and well, it went from there because
we hadn't got no equipment.
Yeah, we got to do. They wanted us to do an encore, so we had to play the same 6 songs, but in a different order, so that they didn't know. And then we got asked to do like different events, like Girl Guides and stuff like that. They said, "Can you come play at our youth club?" And we was like, "Well, we're not really a band, you know. We're just coming for this."
Yeah, the school.
Yeah, school as well.
And then it just went on from there. People kept offering us shows, and we kept saying, "Well, we're not really a band. We're just doing," you know. And then it went from there. And then our dad said, "Well, you know, if you're going to do it, we need to buy some equipment." So basic equipment, wasn't it? We had to get, and that's why we started off, and we've still got basic equipment.
Yeah.
Well, it's much more sophisticated now. But it's very similar how we started. Like when we started rehearsing, we didn't have a drum set even. We just practiced on a suitcase.
Exactly.
And then for the first gig, he had to play over like a heavy metal drum set because that was provided, and he was just totally overwhelmed by like such simple to choose. And he couldn't play the bass drum, of course, because he never played with his foot, you know. And it was just it was a nightmare. But yours was a success, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was because it was just to the parents of the kids that was in the boys' brigade, and that was probably up to the age of about 17. So everyone was young, but it was different because well, in fact, we use our school because in the schools, I don't know if you do in Germany, Switzerland, but we wore blazers. And so we used their school blazers, and our mother sewn some velvet around the collar and on there a little bit. And so that was what we wore. And then later on, as we started to do these youth clubs and organisations, we decided to get some waistcoats, like Teddy Boys, really shiny ones, you know, bootlace ties. And then we gradually started we realised that people actually liked what we were doing. So obviously we started to research rock and roll. That was before all the word rockabilly or any of those, all the albums that came out that were pink, light green,
rare rockabilly.
Before all that, all those albums came into the country, or Charlie Records or anything.
Well, the only record we had in the house was K-Tel 20 Rock and Rolling Greats. And that's had Tony Maroney on it and Shaking All Over. Yeah. And that's where we were learning our songs from off of that one album.
We did have some original 45s that Mum and Dad had just because they wasn't into the rock and roll. They wasn't Teddy Boys or Rockers or whatever. But they had obviously a box of singles. So we had Frankie Vaughan, you know, A Tower of Strength is or something, that sort of thing. And we had some tremolos, we had some Billy Fury,
Shadows.
I think we had some Shadows, Cliff, a few Elvis 45s.
Yeah, all the 45s that were our mum and dad's, but they weren't really into rock and roll. They were just into, because there was some Shirley Bassey there, and I don't remember her doing a rockabilly song.
We didn't even know the word rockabilly.
Goldfinger. And there's a 4.
There's a colour. Yeah.
So the way it works tonight, I will ask some questions, and of course, all the viewers can ask questions to the Jets or to myself if they want to. And if you want to make sure that we read out your question, you can do it via Super Chat on YouTube, or you can also send a PayPal donation, or if you want to help out the boys or the show, help it grow, then you can send out a PayPal donation and just attach your question. That's how easy it is. And the PayPal address is letstalk@randyrich.de. So before we get to the questions we're going to get from the viewers, I have a hard question for you.
Ooh.
Do you remember?
Ooh.
Do you remember when we met the first time?
Yeah, this is where we missed the flight, wasn't it?
That was 1 year later.
Oh.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but actually,
Yeah, we met you a year before we missed the flight.
Yeah. What was it?
Gotcha.
Now, I'm guessing here, but was it Riders Calf, Lubeck?
Well, this is a very good guess, because this is the first time I saw you, but you didn't see me. I was way in the back, because you were the first band I saw in West Germany. I'm from East Germany.
Oh,
So when the ball came down in 1990, I saw you at the Riders Cafe in 91. And then 2 years later, I designed this this flyer here.
Rockabilly, rock and roll meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I booked you not far from my hometown in Rostock.
It was pretty high tech.
yeah,
I know. I'm not sure why they rejected this, and they went for this one then later on.
Oh no, that's getting better.
not 93.
93 that was.
I've seen that before. I remember
This
that.
is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty close on the day of 30 years ago, 1993, when I booked you, and it was outside, like a classic concert garden, how they call it, with a big stage and everything.
Yeah.
And this was how I got to meet you the first time. And then 1 year later, this is when we missed the flight. We'll get to it later. So, any questions from the audience here, from the viewers? They're coming more and more in. There's one girl who was there. Second Mecklenburger rock and roll meeting. Yes, Kühlungsborn was the place. That's a hard one. Here's one for you. I heard. Can you see this on the screen?
We can see it now. Yeah.
I just read it for everybody, but sometimes they're on their phones. Yeah. Heard the roadie of the Jets was a member of Coast to Coast. Do the Hucklebuck before?
The roadie.
Right.
The roadie that we have now.
Yeah.
That's Dennis. That's the one that everyone knows. Well, he don't really come to do the European gigs because we fly. Yeah. Unless the promoters want to pay for him to come, then he'll come. but he does all the English gigs with us, and that's Dennis the roadie.
Okay.
He was not in Coast to Coast, but we did have a roadie for
quite a lot of years.
Probably about 10 years.
When we were coming to Germany.
Yeah, when we was coming to Germany, a lad called Pete. And he was the drummer with Coast to Coast.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
He was the one with the fez on. He had a fez.
Yeah, the fez thing.
See, I never heard of Coast to Coast. So, but they're probably a famous band in England then.
Yeah, well, I think they had a top 20 with Do the Hucklebuck. And also Let's Jump the Broomstick. I think.
Yeah, I think that wasn't so big. But
it wasn't so big. But I mean, at the time, the big television show was obviously Top of the Pops, which we did about 7 times because we had a few hit records, and they also did probably I think 3 or 4 times with Do the Hucklebuck and Let's Jump the Broomstick. Yeah. And that was from not our town, but literally 15, 20 miles down the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were friends of ours anyway.
Yeah, we knew them.
Yeah.
We knew them all anyway. Yeah.
So let's talk about Top of the Pops. How did you get there? And was that through the major label or?
No, we went in a car.
That was
Oh,
the Top of the Pops, yeah, it was with a major label, EMI Records. But originally, the first time we did Top of the Pops, we did it with Yes Tonight, Josephine, our version of the Johnny Ray song, and we sort of mamboed the beat, you know, mambo Italian. Yeah, we mamboed it up a bit and then tried to make it more rockabilly. The seats squeaking. And that was with EMI Records, but originally before that, we was with a couple of other record labels, and they heard us, and EMI said, "Oh yeah, great, you know, three brothers." No, I nearly said three good-looking brothers, but I can't say that. We was young ones. You know,
Once people used
once
to
upon a
say that.
time.
Now we're just old gimmers.
Now we're three old gimmers.
we was all still quite young then. On
Well,
that
we was
first
young,
Top
yeah.
Pops.
You, how old was you?
I was 16 or 17.
He was
or
16,
something.
I think,
Yeah.
So we was a very young boy band, if you like, when we first started, and that was with EMI Records, So there was a major label,
And I once talked like briefly with Tony about it. It was at the Tennessee Club, if I remember it right. I played with Nick Bullet there, and he told me about it. That was sometimes quite hard pressure when you were on the major label, like to have the next successful record. Or maybe you can tell something about it. How was it to be on a major label?
Well, when you get with a major record company, first of all, they want your input and say, you know, what do you want to do? You know, well, we're going to sign you up. What do you want to do? And then when you do the first couple of singles, they all start to get a bit like, oh, we probably know better than you do, you know, because, you know, we've got Queen on our label and we've got Iron Maiden and, you know, we've had hits with it. So, you know, we pretty much know our stuff, you know, and we're like, yeah, but, you know, you don't know our, you know, rock and roll, how we know it. And then they'd always, every time we wrote a song, we would show them it and they'd go, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm Just a Score or any of those songs on the first album. And they'd go, yeah, no, that's good. And then they'd go, have you heard this Everly Brothers song? Have you heard this Cliff Richard song from the 50s? And, you know, and it's true. There's so many good songs you could pick from the 50s, but we struggled to get our own songs out because they've all got a favorite song. And then that started to come to the fore where they were getting what they wanted recorded and putting pressure on us to record those songs rather than doing our own songs. And we Yes Tonight, Josephine we wanted to do.
That was all.
Love Max Will Go Round we wanted to do, but then it started to get not our ideas. Didn't it? Like Honey Dripper, Blue Skies, all these songs were brought to us by songwriters. And, you know, it's a money industry. And what happens is people want you to do one of their songs because that person owns the publishing and he's going to make money off of it. Whether we want to do it or not, the record company starts to take over and they sew up all that money side of it so that they're all making money out of you. And we were quite disillusioned at one point. We said that we felt like when you was with a major record company, you became like a box of cereal, breakfast cereal. And as long as they could sell it, that's all they really cared about was just shifting lots of boxes. And they didn't really care about your artistic input. And
they didn't like it either. If something went wrong, it wasn't then their fault. It
No,
was
no.
like our fault.
Yeah.
Oh no, well they don't like you anymore because
it's a lot tougher than people believe to get into at that level when you're with the big labels. There's a lot of pressure going on and a lot of workload.
I think
as well.
the thing is as well, we was only teenagers. Tony was 16, Ray was sort of like 19, and I was about 21 or something. So obviously we're into the industry. All these people around that telling us how influential they are and how they know Tom Jones and how they met Elvis or how they know Queen, and we're thinking, wow. So when they're telling you, you think, oh well, they must know. And it's only when you look back, you think, if we'd have known now what we knew, we'd have known then what we know now. But doesn't everyone say that? That's experience.
But adding a note to that was that we wouldn't have really changed anything. It was a great time, and we saw and experienced a lot of stuff at the top level. You know, professional with sound, with studios, with everything, and we took that on to form our own record labels and everything based on what we learned from the industry. And you know, we've run our own record label for years, and you know, we control our own merchandising company, and you know, we've done, but we learned all that by being up there with the proper professional scene, and we took bits from that and went, I reckon we could do this ourselves, you know. And that's what we ended up doing. But we wouldn't have changed anything really. It was a good time. It was a great time.
The thing you got to remember, we was like, say, teenagers or early 20s, and they was putting us in the best hotels. And we was getting not just one room. You had the top floor, you had a room, you had a kitchen, you had a bedroom, and at the time you could lay in the bath and there was a phone on the wall. What room are you in? I've got a phone. No, we don't dial phones. It was a phone with a cord in the bath.
It was good. It was good to be at that level. But it came very quickly, and we were like kids. We didn't really understand. We just thought it was a good laugh, you know. We would get flown to all the different countries and all the hotels and everything paid for. Well, we thought so.
We thought so.
Very hectic. Everything was happening so fast though that it was hard to take it all in at the time.
But
there's a lot of stuff.
The different thing with that was it was happening fast, and we used to get invited to all these pop parties with Duran Duran, you know, Culture Club, all these pop bands, Banana Armour and that, and we used to go to them, and good job we was all together, three brothers, because we'd stand over there going, this is not really our thing. They're all, you know, I don't know, almost pretending that they're much better than they really are. And we're thinking
knew each other anyway.
We wasn't into that thing of being. We were just three brothers that started playing a game. We thought this is a good laugh, and then someone puts it on the television. Oh, this is great. That's all we took it.
We took it very seriously when we had TV shows to do. We wanted it to work well, and so we always tried to do the best performance we possibly could.
But you looked always very professional on the TV shows, like
we always tried to do our best. But you're competing with the big. Not again, no disrespect to anybody anywhere. But obviously, you've got lots of scene, whether it's the rock and roll scene, the heavy rock scene, the reggae scene. You know, there's scenes. But then when you get into the big wide world, if you like, all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
You're put on. We used to get put on a lot of festivals where we'd be playing on the bill with Bob Marley's Wailers.
All sorts.
You know, and there'd be all sorts of music, and now we're top artists in their own genre. And we were having to go onto these stages playing to thousands and thousands of people that have come to see what we called then a multicultural festival, because it had reggae, it had heavy metal, but these were all top flight bands, you know, that have been on the telly. And we were thrown in the middle of that, and you go suddenly, then you go, we got to be professional, you know, we got to put this over. And we used to go down really well at what we did. And that's all we ever could do, was try to do what we do the best we could.
But also, we did used to, I don't know the term, but obviously in English we'd say stick our neck out, because we would probably try to do something a little bit different, because our philosophy still is, look, yes, we know we have our own personal taste. Like I love really authentic, obscure rockabilly, and Ray always used to love sort of R&B, doo-wop, things like that. But we thought, we don't want to go out and play exactly like that record, because you may as well put the record on. That was our philosophy. So we said we'd do it our way. We'd put the record on, listen and go, oh yeah, copy the words.
Learn the words.
Oh, right, okay. And then we wouldn't listen again. We'd roughly listen. So some songs you get into more, like people used to say, you're Johnny Bennett stuff, and you think, because we was into all that, you know. But other stuff, we take ideas and just go, well, let's do it this way. Let's put this to it. Let's put that rhythm. You know,
it would be influences from lots of different records, and then we'd sort of like jumble it all up and try to come up with something different that sounded like the Jets rather than sounding like any other band. And I still think we sound like us rather than sounding like any other band. You know? And
Definitely, because I think, like, for me, what really stuck out and what I really enjoyed was always that you had a mix of rockabilly. You know, when I saw you the first time, you did the Elvis Sun special in the middle where you just play without the drums, you know, with the acoustic guitar. Well, you did the doo-wop and the R&B. The first time I heard "Fools Fall in Love" from you, and and I asked everyone, "What's the song? The song, you know, the fool, da, 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 da." And you were like, "Oh yeah, that's the Drifters. Fools Fall in Love." What? So I heard it from you, and also then very well-known songs like "Come On Everybody," "Run Around Sue," and stuff like that. That's stuff we did as well, and I think sometimes this is missing today. What I really also enjoy about the 1950s, you had so much variety on the Alan Freed shows. You know, so many different bands and styles. And today, it's not much space like for a slow song or for melody. Often when you play a concert, it has to be, you know, 100 miles an hour. I don't know how you feel about it, but
again, I think with that, it depends what type of venue. If you're on a festival, then it's mainly about people, 1,000 people or whatever size festival watching you. So they want to hear things like with us, they want to hear our own songs, but we don't do all our own. We throw a mix in of bit of rockabilly to a bit of
which we always have done.
Which we always have done. But some situations, all they want to do is dance. So you have to cater for, well, we need the rock, we need to put in a couple of rockabilly songs, then 2 or 3 strollers because the dance floor will be full of all, and then 2 or 3 jivers, and then we'll do one slow song and then some boppers. So but that's a different situation, you know. So we have to try to cater. Well, that's what we do. We try
entertain.
We change our sets. We never do the same set twice. Well, probably the same songs, but we move them around.
What happens is Bob writes a list and puts it on his double bass, and 2 songs in,
the list
it goes anywhere. And I'm saying, I thought that 3rd song was so and so. No, I've changed it now. It's all gone.
I have one band where we do the same. We always say the list is only a recommendation. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have another.
We used to go by the people, and you know, you'd look at the people and you think, yeah, they're reacting to this, so maybe we'll try another one or try this style because I think this will work with this crowd. But then Ray used to say in a dance situation, they used to say that if someone walked across the floor with a limp or slowly, I'd change the speed quick. He's going faster.
His tempo.
Look at him.
We got to move a little faster here. We got some questions coming up here. So the first one I put on the screen. How about the Stuart Coleman connection?
No, you can do it.
Stuart Coleman. That's what it says about the Stuart Coleman.
Yeah. Well,
Stuart Coleman produced us. He was Shakin' Stevens' producer as well.
Yeah. Well, Stewart originally done the It's Rock and Roll show on BBC Radio 2, I think it was.
Was it 2?
I think it was Radio 2.
Well, it's BBC anyway.
Yeah. And
in the 70s.
And then he started, it was called It's Rock and Roll. I don't know if you know of that show. And
well, I just wanted to tell you, it's the first rock and roll show I saw when I was like really young, because they showed it in Germany as well. So this is when I saw Shakin' Stevens the first time.
That might have been. Was that Jack Good's old
Let's Rock. It was Let's Rock.
Oh, Let's Rock.
That was before that.
Stuart Coleman's show was the radio show.
Okay.
It was on Saturday evening for maybe 2 hours on prime, you know, the whole BBC radio. So everyone used to listen, and it was the time of when there was like the Teddy Boy marches through London and late 70s. So, you know.
He used to run the show, and then he used to have bands to come in and do a session, and you'd do 4 songs
live.
Well, we record. No, they were recorded, weren't they? We went down to his studio to record them, and then you'd insert them into the show.
I can't remember.
But it was because Tony was only how old was you?
I was young, about 12.
12. Because
I interviewed me, didn't they? And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm 12."
They did. Stuart Coleman interviewed him. But our manager, our manager used to manage Stuart Coleman too, and they used to have a recording studio called Rockmasters. And we never recorded at Rockmasters studio. We used to record in Eden's studio, which was down in Chiswick. And we saw, when we were going down there, we saw Dave Edmonds down there, didn't we? He was coming out, and Mark Knopfler, Dire Straits were recording there. And I think they were recording during the night session, and they were coming out as we were going in to do our singles and the album down at Eden studio.
After school, we had to finish school first.
Oh yeah, and that's how we got to Stuart Coleman to produce us. But at the time, he was having a lot of hits with Shakin' Stevens. Stuart was, so that was the connection really. Is that our manager managed him too? So that's where it all happened, really, wasn't it?
So speaking of Shakin' Stevens, I read about the Jets were not allowed to wear something black or white when they support Shakin' Stevens in the early 80s because of Shaggy's management. Is that true?
Yeah. What happened was we toured for about 2 weeks, 14 days with Shakin' Stevens as support. So we went on first, then he went on top of the bill. And we was playing big theatres, maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. Now we went on stage, and the first 3 days, because we was away from home, because I made the shirts, I made some pink with black panels across the top shirts.
They're on one of the singles.
So not black and white, but it was pink and white. Yeah, on one of the very first Sugar Doll, I think they're on, with the cover of Sugar Doll.
Oh yeah.
And we wore those, and Shakin' Stevens' manager, Freya, her name was, she came out and she said, "You can't wear them. Pink is Shakin' Stevens' colour." We said, "Well,
pink and black."
Pink and black. He said, "Well, this is all we've got." He said, "We've got." The first 3 days he wore a pink jacket. And the rest of the tour, all of a sudden, he then had black panels on the top, like our shirts.
It was a pink jacket, and they had panels added to it, like our shirts.
Later on in the tour,
and we weren't allowed to wear them.
So the rest of the tour, we had to wear white,
till we got back,
we wore yellow or anything but pink.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was not black and white; it was pink, but it
was
pink. Yeah, it was pink and black.
Pink and black.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. See, this is what I like about these shows. These shows I hear. I learned a lot of cool stuff here. So this is a long one. Just saying, good evening, Randy. Good evening, Tony, Bob, and Ray. Speaking from Southwest France, we've met several times. Simply friends, Billy Bob's Saloon, Blue Monday week, and I enjoyed your latest album. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to see you at the end of June at the French Weekender in Brittany. So just want to say thanks a lot, Larry, for tuning in, and we always have some wild shows in France. Great that you join in. Here's a question from Bill Lee. Do you remember the Royalty Southgate?
Oh yeah. I used to have an old car, a 1950s car, 1958, and it was a Mark II Zephyr, and it would always drive me. Well, I drove it down to the Royalty, but it always broke down on the side of the road going home. It would never get me home.
What was that a venue? Was that a venue? The Royalty?
It was a big venue. Yeah, it's no longer there, but it was a big venue. Yeah.
There's a famous film. I don't know if you know the film. Sting was in it. It was called Quadrophenia. Have you ever seen that? It's about the Mods and the Rockers, Okay. Well, there's a scene in there where they're all dancing, and he jumps off the balcony, and that's the Royalty. But it used to be used for rockabilly gigs. Yeah. And we saw Bill Haley there.
Yeah, Bill Haley, Carl Perkins, everyone was there back then.
We saw all those people, and we played there. The Polecats played there when they were really young.
Stargazers.
They weren't called the Stargazers, were they then? Pete was in them, but they were called something else, weren't they? The Rhythm Boys or something. Yeah, Rhythm Cats.
I can't remember. No, I think Stargazers played there as well.
Did they? Yeah.
But it then changed its name and then just turned it to a nightclub. Matchbox. The man who I think owned the Royalty Ballroom became Matchbox's manager.
Yeah. When they had all their hits. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's get it moving. We have super chat without a question from Al Rondo. He's from Bavaria. Coffee for the rock and roll cats.
No, thank you. We could use that.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
We only drink tea.
I drink coffee.
Here's one from Handy Jim. Will you guys do any recording at Sugar Ray's studio?
Probably not. It's an authentic sounding studio. It's all valve equipment, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no, to be honest, all our recordings we do them ourselves. We have our own. Well, I have my own studio, which we can see we're sitting in now. This is a makeshift studio that's actually in my house.
Yeah.
But my proper studio that is underneath a garage. It's a proper studio with a drum booth and everything, which is where we record our albums. Unfortunately, got a leak and it flooded the basement out, so it's going to be repaired. I had a guy come round, do some work, and he cut the tank in, and all the water got into the basement. So it's all got to be repaired. So we're sitting in what is my studio now, because you can see the sound panels all up.
Yeah.
And, but no, we do all the recordings ourselves. It's for us, it's more flexible because we can accept it.
It's more flexible. We could take 10 years.
It takes us 10 years to do it.
10 years instead of a couple of months.
Yeah.
Because we have the ability to change things. And if you do a record in 6 months, you look at it and you go, I reckon we can do it better than that now. I think we did. And you have to draw a line where it's finished. And
it's not only that. Also, what happens is we book an afternoon and say, right, Tuesday afternoon, we'll all turn up at midday, 12 o'clock, and we'll record till 5.
Yeah.
And then we'll get there, and then Tony will say, I've got to go at 3 to pick my girls up from school. And then I will say, I've got to go and do mum's shopping at 4. And then Ray will go, I've got a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Let's do it tomorrow.
And it just getting pushed back.
But
10 years later.
The last album that we just had out, the Hear Me Now album, we recorded 2 albums at the same time. We put some other tracks down, some rockabilly tracks and everything. And some of those tracks are dated 2009. That's how long it takes us to record albums.
Yeah.
Terrible.
All right. So we talked about some recordings. So you sent me a recording. I haven't heard it yet.
Still
was close, Paul.
with the phone.
We're all doing this.
Yeah, we're all crossing the fingers. So here's Temptation. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Let's try it.
Put it on the screen. All right.
It worked.
So if people want to get Temptation, where can they get it? And how can they get it?
They can get it mail order on the website, which is all the W's, thejets.co.uk.
That's the one.
There it is.
I just took a wild guess.
That's where it is. Yeah, like I say, you can get it through that, or I believe, well, you can also buy it through eBay. And eBay do it a different way because they have a global selling something or other.
Okay.
Whereas
Good to know what you're doing.
whereas obviously through the Jets, what it does, it goes, but then it does go via the customs. But we put a sticker on and say it's a gift. So
All right.
with all that secrets.
I really enjoyed the track. How is it for you to see yourself perform? Is it like for me? It's not sometimes I can't do it. Like if we play the show and I watch a video, it's just.
Well, we just laugh at each other and go, "Oh, look at your head, look at your nose." Look at your...
Bob was saying,
your throat.
Bob was saying, why are you two? What is it called? Us purple or something?
Yeah, we were.
I'm not called white.
Anyway, to be honest, we had about 6 goes at that, and the more you do it, the more it goes wrong. And they were simple, silly mistakes we were making, but we got there in the end.
Right. Yeah.
And, I think it's concentration.
I'm trying to upload the other one. If I can manage here, and handling all the comments and everything. So we got some more donation and super chat. Here's one from Wilhelm.
Cool.
I think is he from the Netherlands or Germany? Wilhelm, I forgot. I think you gave us some money on another show already. Thank you very much. And he says, always glad to support some people in the rockabilly world. Have a great one all. No question attached, but thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good one.
Nice.
And we also have a donation from Stephanie. She's from Germany. She says, I'm too young to ask a good question, but it's good to see how much fun you have.
That's good.
Yeah, she just turned 29 again yesterday. Yes. Oh, yeah. But we spent the weekend together. Had a really good weekend. So maybe you have a birthday song.
A birthday song.
I know I put you on the spot now, but
definitely, yeah, we can do one.
If you don't, then that's okay. I don't.
Good to know then.
Oh,
That'll do.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stephanie. Happy birthday to you.
Right, yeah, she will appreciate that.
I had to change.
Great
On
stuff.
the fly.
Oh, right. Let's see. Get so many questions came in.
Taking their money back.
After hearing that, do we have a refund?
Yeah.
Ray, please, could you talk about how you learned guitar? Did you have lessons, self-taught, etc.? And which guitar players were you first influenced by?
Right. Yeah. No, I never had guitar lessons. That's not quite true. Most of the of my learning was done myself, and I used to learn Gene Vincent records, Cliff Gallup, by the record player, by moving the needle back, and you couldn't slow. If you wanted to slow it down, you used to have to put your finger on the deck to slow it down to hear what the notes that Cliff Gallup was playing.
Actually, I have a trick for you. If you still do it this way,
Now
Things have changed.
if you put on a 45, like a 7-inch, and you play it on 33, it's one octave lower, so you
Yeah.
can actually.
Yeah, you see, well, you
it's
see, you don't have to do that on YouTube now. You just click on
no.
the button. Yeah, and you've got all these little gadgets now that will slow it down but keep it in the same key. So
Yeah.
He knows that.
Yeah, see. But no, back in the day, it was very hard to learn them songs because they were so quick. But all my stuff, the Chet Atkins stuff and everything, I used to learn off of records or just have a listen to them, you know. And it's great now when you see YouTube, you see people showing you. Well, I know you do some lessons as well, and it you can see straight away. But when we first learned, we didn't even know where the sound of the double bass was coming from. We didn't know where the clicking was coming from. The early rockabilly bands were always clicking on a wooden block. We were on our first records, we were clicking on the rim of the drum, or you know, because we didn't realize it was a double bass, you know, at that time. But I went on a tangent there. But no, I've never had lessons. That's not totally true. I did have about 4 lessons with a jazz teacher because I wanted to learn some of the more, you know, flat fives and diminished chords and things like that. Because within rock and roll, now I've lost them. They said, diminished what? So Bob only plays one note at a time, and Tony's
Boom, boom, boom.
Tony's drums are in the same key every song anyway. So, yeah, I just wanted to understand a little bit more of that, and because I could always hear how to do records by using just my ears, whether it sounded right with the harmonies and stuff. But I wanted to know why they sounded like that, and it gives you another reason, another way of putting harmonies together and double checking whether you're doing it right, and that's basically how I approach guitar as well, with the harmonies on the guitar and stuff. But now I understand where the thirds, fifths, and all that type of lines run. But
we do play by ear. We don't.
Yeah,
you know,
most of it we play by ear. We don't read music. You know, but it's nice to know a little bit of theory about the music because it helps you put songs together because you've got 2 ways of doing it. You can hear how you want it to do it. Sometimes you get stuck and go, something's not working. But when you know the music theory, you can go, I can see why, because that note should be flat. You know, so I quite enjoy that side of it. Yeah, Chet Atkins, Mo Travers, Grady Martin, all the standard players, because they were the best. You know, you know, I know people all quote a lot of the same influences, but that's because they were the best and they were on a lot of the records. So the sounds I grew up with, you know, the Johnny Bennett stuff obviously was Grady Martin, which we didn't know, but we do know. It's all coming out.
I remember when you played this concert actually, and you did the sound check, and there was a guy in the crowd. He asked, "I'll play some Chet Atkins." And then he played something. I don't know what it was, but you know, for me, it sounded just so strange. You know, to have the bass and the melody. At the same time. I was totally. It was like, what is this? And I tried. I couldn't figure it out at all. I was like, wow, what is this?
You know, it's one of those styles where if you go into a music store and you test the guitar out and you play something like that, all the guitarists in the store go, how are you doing that? Because they play rock, but it's all single notes, and you know, they do all these hammer-on things and the harmonic things. I can't do any of that stuff. But when you start sounding like you're playing 2 lines together, they'll look at you gone out like, that's just impossible. But I know you can do it. Daryl does it really well. You know, Daryl's great at playing that.
There's some great guitarists around.
And you know, it did all stem from that. But what I did find out the other day was that what I was told was it actually originally first came not from Chet Atkins or Mel Travers. It came from the Everly brothers. Is it Ike Everly?
Yeah, it's
Ike. He was the first one to be doing it.
Yeah.
And I only found that out the other day because I thought it originated through like Mel Travers, Chet Atkins, but supposedly it didn't. It came from the Everly brothers' father. He was the first one to do that style.
Yeah, Ike in Mos Rega, we went down once in Muhlenberg County. That's a real German name, and in Kentucky, and that's where they lived. And like everybody, not now anymore, but like when we went there 2005, still everybody was thumb picking, like, you know,
Yeah.
the mailman and butcher, everybody.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, a lot of people don't realise that Cliff Gallup, because he played those single lines, that he was very good at finger picking. You hear a lot. He was playing a lot of that stuff in there, but it's the fast single note runs that everybody knows him for.
Yeah.
But when you actually listen close to the records, he's doing a lot of finger picking on a lot of those records. And it's only when you listen really closely you actually realise he's doing a lot more than you think he is. And he was really good, a really good player. So, but you know that. A lot of people know that. He was the best, wasn't he? You know,
so your singing was not too bad, I guess. Stephanie says, wow, thank you guys.
Thank you guys. No problem, Stephanie.
And we have another. And just want to say hi to everybody who came new to the chat here, and really appreciate your questions, and really good questions, and also for your donations, of course. And if you want to help out the Jets or the show, then you can do that via super chat on YouTube, or just send a donation to letstalk@randyrich.de and just attach a question, and we will read it out, and the guys will answer it.
Hello, Rich and Reenie.
Yeah, we know them well.
Yes.
Hope you're feeling a little bit better, Rich. And Reenie, Groot is asking you about you, Tony's dog.
So we just might have to hire you again. They say there's still plenty of birthdays left in Reenie. So you apparently played her birthday.
We did, yeah, a 50th, I think.
Okay. Oh, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
There's a 20th.
So thanks a lot, Rich, for your donation. That's £5 this time. £5
there you
go. Let's see. There's also the great Benzini. He's from Italy. He asked if it's available on Amazon. I guess the CD.
The CD is on Amazon. Yes, you'd have to on streaming service. It's Amazon Music, isn't it? And it's on Spotify.
Apple Music.
Yeah, it is on Apple Music. Yeah. So if you put in the Jets "Hear Me Now" album, all our albums are up on the streaming services. So yeah, so it is on Amazon. Yeah, you can't buy it from Amazon, though, don't I think. We don't know if you can buy it from Amazon.
I've got one. I don't need it.
Yes, you can stream it on Amazon Music. Yeah.
Okay, I just try to upload this second track, and I hope it doesn't finish the live stream here. It will take some time. Okay, and we have some time to answer some more questions. Here's one from Thomas Zudo. Any plans for a release on vinyl, maybe EP? Yes, I know the prices for vinyl are high.
Yeah, that is the problem, really, because although there is, or we hear in the grapevine that a lot of, especially on the rockabilly rock and roll scene, the authentic side, they love vinyl, but there's a lot that
so expensive.
It's so expensive, and I probably won't. We probably won't. Although we are looking at it.
Yeah, we are looking at it. But it would be a limited edition of our albums if we did.
We have still got one EP on vinyl.
That's true.
Still available, actually. It's called Treat Your Man.
Oh,
you just don't know how to treat your man.
Treat Your Man EP.
Yes. So that is still available.
Yeah.
So there's one question I have about one vinyl record, the silver one.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that one?
Well, that was the first album we ever did.
Yeah.
And we actually recorded that with Lightning Records. But then Lightning Records licensed it to EMI Records. So although it came out on EMI Records, it was originally recorded on Lightning.
Yeah, from the Lightning Record Company.
Yeah, Lightning Record Company. And that was produced by, in fact, we used to go after school and work, because we worked in the day. I worked as an electrician, so did Ray. and Tony was
school.
at school.
Yeah.
So we used to leave straight after school, 5 o'clock, and go. It was only, well, Wellingborough, which was 10 miles away from
Yeah.
us. Just a small studio called Beck. And we recorded it every night of the week up till about 2 in the morning. And then we'd go to work and school the next day. And the producer of that was a man called Paul Gervitz. He was in, was it Baker Ginger Gervitz or something?
The Baker Gervitz Army.
It was a rock band called the Baker Gervitz Army.
Ginger
And,
Baker.
Ginger Baker, the drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was in Cream, wasn't he?
Yes.
Was Clapton, Eric Clapton.
Okay.
And
Oh, that were an off-white. Sorry.
you can't take him anywhere. And yeah, terrible. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
So I've lost the track now. No,
Surprise.
but he was a friend of the guy that owned Lightning Records.
Who
So-
also put out, what was it? His original stuff he used to put out.
Oh, you might have seen some of the
Yes,
original
yeah.
singles that a guy called Keith Yershin, who owned Lightning Records, he used to put them out on the old Gold label.
Yeah.
You might have seen the singles. Well,
Yeah.
that was part of Lightning Records,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that's how we got, because they were re-releasing all the old 50s songs and Charlie
Yeah.
Gracie songs and everything, all on old Gold record, and that's how Lightning Records got interested in us.
Okay.
And then
They came to see us at a gig,
yeah, and we did that album, and it worked out quite well. And there we chose the songs.
It's funny though,
Yeah.
we listen to it now and it's we sound really young, but
Oh,
we
yeah.
was young. Tony was
Yeah.
16 or 15.
Yeah, 15.
No, you're about 15,
Yeah.
15, 18. I may have been 20, but it's all, where you got me going crazy. It's like things we sound like on helium. But
A couple of things hadn't dropped
First
at that
thing-
point.
it's the first thing we ever did, so it was great. We loved
Yeah.
it.
But you also had a saxophone on a few
Oh,
numbers.
yeah.
Do you know who that player was?
No.
Johnny Paris from Johnny and the Hurricanes.
Ah, okay. Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had piano
And
as
the
well.
piano player was Mickey Gallagher from Ian Jury and the Brockheads.
Yeah. Okay.
He was
Yeah.
the piano player on that. He was on Let's Get It On and, at the beginning. He was on another track as well, Booger Red or anyway.
But he was on it, yeah.
Yeah.
That they were two people
Johnny
that we had
Paris,
session on there.
Yeah.
And it was Johnny Paris from
Yeah.
Johnny and the Hurricanes.
Didn't they misspell "Let's Get It On"? It was like "Hit It On" or something like this.
Oh no, we did
Oh, no,
another record
we did
called
another
Hit It
song
On.
called Hit It On.
Oh yeah,
That was
we
one of
did,
your
yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
That was no, we did Let's Get It On, I think was the A side, and Hit It On was the B side,
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
written by you.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. That's the one.
Just to confuse people.
Just to confuse everyone, yeah.
All right. So we met the first time in '93, and you're quite a few times in my book here, Rock and Roll Fever. And
Yeah.
one year later, I booked you again. It was a very small club. I'm not sure if you remember. It's
Oh,
called
excuse me. Amazing.
English weather.
Yeah.
It was called Pappensat. It was in Rostock. It was really small, and I could see from their astonished reactions that they were not used to the vintage equipment which we provided.
Okay.
This meant that they could enjoy 50 watts of Dynacord tube technology. Do you remember that?
Yeah, sounds like a good amp though. I bet it sounded great.
Yeah. Well, we really enjoyed it, and then you played, and it was really good. It was just before Christmas. You played White Christmas to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Drifters version. The next morning, I prepared a typical German breakfast for the guys. They apparently felt so comfortable in our kitchen that they told me one joke after another.
That doesn't sound like us.
We're probably still saying the same ones.
Yeah.
But
Right,
the brothers
good.
obviously were not in the mood to hit the road to the airport yet. The funny anecdotes from their musical lives were endless. I was torn between enjoying the comedy hour and reminding them about the plane we had to catch. To make matters worse, there was no highway to the airport, just an old country road. The traffic on this day was also a challenge, and so the inevitable had unfolded. The Jets missed a flight for the first time in their career.
Oh,
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
was in December '94, and we had to wait 2 hours before the next departure. Therefore, we were able to continue our funny conversations.
really, you've got to tell more of my jokes.
Yeah.
But at the airport that time. But
Yeah.
at the airport that time.
And
Yeah.
actually, for me, it was the first time in an airport.
Yeah.
I was just like, and for you, it was like, what? It's your
You gotta
first
wait
time in an
longer.
airport. You couldn't believe it. Yeah.
God.
Do you know when we were having our chart records, we went on 3 flights in one day.
Yeah.
We were in Germany, and we came from Germany to London, didn't we? And then we went from London to Newcastle, and then from Newcastle back to London, and then we drove home, all in one day, 3 flights. And we were absolutely couldn't keep our eyes open.
Yeah.
And it was like that all the time. When you had a record out, you'd promote, and you'd be going to Germany, and you'd be going to Switzerland, and you'd be going to do all the TV shows, and it was non-stop while the record was out. And then when the record started to come down the charts, there was a bit of a lull, but you would be recording new stuff for the next single, and it was on the go all the time.
Then
And
photo shoots.
Photo
Yeah,
sessions,
photo
covers.
sessions.
newspaper interviews.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
good. It was good at the time.
Yeah, we wouldn't change anything, but
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not like you don't do what you want to do. There's lots of stuff you have to do. When we were touring, we would go to the show to sound check at maybe 5 o'clock, and our show was at 10 o'clock at night. But from 10 o'clock in the morning, we would have to go to all the local towns and do all the radio stations and say the same questions
Closing. Yeah.
every radio station, and then go and do the show at night.
Yeah.
And we'd do that day in, day out. And
Wow.
yeah, so it was not what you expect, but you know, it was good fun.
Yes. So what do you think? We just got some more people there. Is L from Munich, Big L. Hi. He saw you at Munich the first time at the rockabilly meeting, and you played there almost every year, as I can remember. I saw you
Yeah,
a few
we
times
did.
there.
We did a lot of years.
Tell us about this experience.
I'd say that I think, I'm not sure how many we did, but I'd say that probably on about 8 different shows there at the Munich Festival, where it was always us and Crazy Cavern.
Yeah.
So we used to always, they used to like to have a bit of a drink. So we used to sit in the bar afterwards at the hotel, or in the beer garden the next day, all drinking, and we're thinking, oh God, we can't keep up with Crazy Cavern. They're wild, you know. But the festivals were wild.
Yeah,
because
they were good.
everyone was young.
Yeah,
In those
really
days,
good.
you know, from when we started. In fact, you look at, there's some old video on YouTube of us playing there, and you look at it, and everyone is just at the front, crazy.
They were young,
But everyone was
Yeah,
young. Everyone
yeah.
was teenagers or early 20s.
Yeah, I
You know.
have a story about when we played at Munich once. So Carl Perkins was on, and we
No, that was Hamburg.
no, it wasn't. It was Munich Festival. Yeah,
Are you
definitely.
sure?
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
too many festivals.
I think it's Hamburg.
Munich
Well,
Festival.
I saw Carl Perkins in 1994 in Munich. So
Yeah,
he
it was
was
Munich
definitely
Festival,
playing
yeah.
Munich.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went on stage and we played just before them. And when we came off into the changing room, Carl Perkins' son, who was the bass player at the time, come up to me and he said, "Which amplifier did you use?" And I said, the twin reverb this side. He went, "Oh, because Carl says that's the sound he wants."
Oh,
Yeah, that's what he
that's
said.
better than that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
said, "Well, yeah, it was that amp." He says, "And you haven't returned anything different, have you? Because that's the sound Carl wants." And
But
I was like,
there was another one.
yeah,
There used to be a famous club, well, in England, called the Thunderbird Club. And it was like a local, at Wellingborough, 10
Yeah.
miles from where we live. And it was every Thursday. They had the Comets, Carl Perkins, Billy Lee Riley, obviously
Yeah,
the Jets,
yeah.
Restless. They had lots of
Yeah.
Darryl, lots of different bands. And this particular time, they had Carl Perkins. Well, the organizer knew our roadie, which was Pete, from Coast to Coast,
Yeah.
and said to Pete, "Could you get, I need a keyboard so they could play piano and a really long guitar lead." So we went, yeah, okay. So Pete asked Ray can we borrow your keyboard, Ray, for Carl Perkins' band, and a guitar lead. Well, Ray had made a really long guitar lead, but it was bright blue. So it's bright blue guitar lead.
Yeah.
So Carl Perkins used it on the show at the Thunderbird Club Thursday night, played. There, Carl Perkins' roadie packed Carl's guitar up and the lead. So then they went. Of course,
Stole it.
there was no lead. 2 weeks later, Carl Perkins was on a show in New York with all people. Ray's guitar lead, bright blue.
And right across the stage, it was like, you can't miss that
my
lead.
lead.
It was a big stadium gig.
Yeah,
televised.
Yeah.
It was Ray's
Get it
guitar
back.
lead.
But I said, you can keep it, Carl.
Well, it fits the blue suede shoes now.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard to see. Right? You know, I have a lot suitcases full of memorabilia.
We can
Oh,
see
yes.
And so I show you this. It's really hard to see here. So this is 94, the same year.
Is there autograph?
Right.
It's an autograph from Carl
Oh,
Perkins.
yeah.
And it's during the sound check. You know, everybody was still asleep on the grass, basically. You know, and I was like one of the like very few up and about, and I heard, you know, Honey Don't or something. It says Carl Perkins sound checking, and then I sneaked in, and then they were, you know, practicing, and I didn't have anything to write, only my East German passport. So I gave him that, and that's what he signed. You know? So it's still up there. So
Oh wow.
Brilliant.
yeah, so this is my Carl Perkins story, and yeah, I'll never forget that. So any more questions? You can think about it. We just play the other songs. The other song that you send me. Uploaded it.
Yeah.
Let me just find it. Okay, and the song is called Annie.
Yep.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
on the latest CD called Hear Me Now, and that's Annie is on the CD. Yeah.
Coming up now.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let you
All right.
It
That was-
worked.
It worked.
Annie from the new album Hear Me Now
Yes.
by the Jets, and you can get it at I don't read
Oh,
thejets.co.uk.
That's it.
The one.
It's funny because we've just heard that, but because we're listening through a little laptop, it's very jack.
Okay.
But when we was playing it, you could hear it round bass sound and
Yeah.
So what
play
he's
it back
trying to
is
say,
play it onto a big sound system.
that's what he's trying to say.
I heard the bass really well, so
Ah,
no, really, yeah. It was present, and just want to say hi to everybody who joined later. You still have the chance for maybe 10-15 more minutes to send your question and attach it to a PayPal donation to Let's Talk at randyrich.de, or you can do it via Super Chat on YouTube and help out the guys and the show. And we have another question from Andy Witter. You know him?
Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Andy, schön dich zu sehen. Auch hier. What happened to the Bad Boys? Are they still playing and eventually recording with you?
No, they're still around.
Changed
Obviously,
their name.
they changed their name from Bad Boys to Lights Out. And for anybody who's listening and don't know who the Bad Boys or Lights Out were, they were our sons, basically. There was two of my sons. He's sneezing now. Two of my sons. My son was the lead singer and guitarist, and my other son was the drummer. They used to sing, and Ray's son was the bass player, and they all used to do vocals and stuff. They did record 2 albums, which again you can get them. Those 2 albums also on the Jets website. So if you want Bad Boys or Lights Out albums, there's 2 available there, but they're not actually playing anymore. No, they played for about 10 years. They used to support us quite a lot on gigs, as Andy would know. So sometimes they would go on stage, then we would go on stage, and then we would bring them onto the stage with us. So 2 generations of the Cotton family. So it used to be really good, but they played about 10 years, but they no longer play anymore. They all have good jobs,
Kids.
and kids. They all have kids.
But yes, we did record I recorded those albums in my studio with Lights Out and Bad Boys. I did both their albums.
Yeah. So one question I have. I have a brother too, and let's just say we didn't get along too well. So, how did you do it for like almost 50 years now? Was it always easy as it seems now, or?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
It's like any family.
Yeah.
You have disagreements sometimes, and you don't always agree with everybody, with everything that everybody wants to do. Or sometimes it's oh, you're late. You're supposed to be here at this time. What have you got that on for? We told you it was. So you get arguments within the band, but you get that with any band. It doesn't matter whether it's family.
Yeah.
And no, I mean we're still pretty close. We don't see each other every day.
We are at the moment.
Well, we're close at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't see each other every day, but even now, sometimes, well, not so much now, but probably up until 10 years ago, we'd still sometimes go on holidays together with family and things like that. And we'd still, I mean, Tony and Ray both go out on motorbikes together, trials bikes. We all used to go skiing together sometimes and all things like that. So we're still pretty close, but we had arguments. Obviously, any family has arguments, but maybe one of the reasons we've been going for so long is because we're family. It's not like you have an argument with the guitarist and then say, that's it, I'm off, and you never see them again. We still see them because it's still family. So, but I mean, we're all pretty close. We share kidneys.
Oh yeah.
I know about that. So, Tony, did you have any drummer you were looking up to? When you were starting to learn drums, how did you learn drums?
Most of the time, with the drum thing, I picked them up from these 2 for a start, And then with the records and stuff, we'd play records, you listen to it. And like we said earlier, a lot of it came from, we just played our own style. We played our own thing. And a lot of the time I didn't really listen to other drummers as such, because I just only on certain records that we have to learn. And then you listen to a certain thing and then you play it your own way. And that was
Well, every time.
Exactly. Yeah, to keep with you, Bob.
It's all right, we can do that. We can change tempo altogether.
Yeah.
You never notice.
For freestyle.
Yeah. It's like a never-ending. Because like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But there weren't any main influences around.
Ray was the drummer originally, so obviously
I taught him everything he knows.
I remember
5 minutes.
the first time we changed over and I had to be the drummer, I got like 2 weeks' notice, and then we done one of the first big weekend festivals, which was a festival called Caister.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, yeah. And,
1979, I think.
and basically, at the time, they were away on holiday. They split up. Well, the bass player at the time left.
Yeah.
And then Bob went, I'm going to play double bass now rather than guitar. So he got a double bass. Ray decided to play guitar, and they went, Tony, you're playing the drums.
You're the drummer.
I had 2 weeks to learn a set playing the drums. I hadn't really picked.
Never played before.
I was playing on cushions in the living room.
Yeah.
That's how I learned the first couple of years.
Everybody needs a challenge, you know.
How did it go?
Really good.
Yeah, it was
Really
alright,
good.
yeah.
It was called was it called Blue Suede? No, Blue Suede Shoes was the
video.
It was Caister.
Yeah.
That was the video that came from.
Yeah, the video came. We weren't on the video though.
No, Cavan and Saucers.
Yeah, but we got a really good write up because we was really young.
Yeah.
And we played things like obviously Elvis, Eddie Cochran, Johnny Cash. But again, no one had got double basses either. So when we was playing the songs, we weren't slapping it. It was just boom, boom. Well, we did get rhythm, boom, boom, boom. There was no slap. No, we didn't know about slapping.
Also, there's a bit of a novel thing we used to do then, because when we originally sort of changed round, I had to play bass guitar for a while. While Bob was still on guitar and Ray was on the drums. So what we done was halfway through this set, we used to switch round again. So Ray used to go from guitar back onto the drums. Bob used to come out and play guitar, and I used to go on to bass guitar. We used to do a few songs like that as well.
And we learnt all that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Challenge. Actually, we got the record deal with Lightning Records was already in place as a 4-piece band. Because we did the first records, Rockabilly Baby, James Dean, Sleep, Rock and Roll, and Hey Baby as a 4-piece band. Yeah. And I was the drummer, you was the guitarist.
I was rhythm guitarist.
You was rhythm guitarist.
There was some hot licks there.
And we got the record deal with Lightning, and then we split up. The bass player left, and we went, well, we'll just change instruments. and the record company went, I don't know, I'm not sure we want to sign you. We don't even know what you like. We went, it'll be all right. And we done the festival, and they came to the festival and they saw us and went, no, we still want to sign you, playing that way. So we changed instruments, and 2 weeks later we got a record deal.
Yeah.
It was quite funny.
Yeah.
But it worked out in the end.
Well, it was similar for our first gig, but it didn't go so well because the drummer left, and then we had to switch to. There was same story actually. It was just the drummer left. So I played bass on electric guitar because we didn't have a bass, and then the bass player played drums, and the other guitar player he stayed. But it was at the end of the show, the promoter who booked us, he went was at the side of the stage. He was like, it's like it's enough, you know.
That was worked out okay.
Yeah.
So okay, so maybe let's see, 1 or 2 more questions if you have any, and then we get to the quiz game. Any gigs in northwest of England soon, or the Ace?
We haven't got any at the Ace because that's in London on the North Circular.
Manchester way, isn't it?
Northwest is Manchester, Liverpool, Southport. I think we got one in Blackpool.
Yeah.
We got one in Southport, haven't we? Or we've done that.
We've
Yeah,
done that.
but the answer to that was be most likely.
Probably. Check out the
out the
website.
website.
Yeah, all the dates are on the website. So,
Well,
Yeah.
they're only ever 3 months in advance.
they're not now, are they?
No.
Oh, they're not?
No, you're well beyond the
Oh,
times.
I don't look.
Yeah, like
Wow.
a month comes up and you have to click on the months to go through the months.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we don't know, basically.
I just have to prepare something here.
Yeah.
Okay, we have somebody from Hamburg. It's not a question, but he says we cover Nervous with our band called the Chevy Devils. He's from Hamburg.
Yeah,
Right.
good.
Cool.
Are you still doing Nervous at your
Yeah,
shows?
we still play Nervous. I mean, we quite often get emails come through. We're a band from this country or that country. Can you send me all the words to your song? And we're thinking,
No, we didn't.
I haven't got a clue what they are, so I have to listen to the record and write them down.
I had with Daryl Harm. We know Daryl very well because we did the isolation sessions with Daryl, and he recorded down where he lives down south, and we all recorded in different houses.
Yeah.
And then I had to put it all together in a video format and put us in little boxes and sync it all up. But Daryl was doing an album with Rocky Burnett, and they did a cover of one of our songs. What was
your song?
Yeah. Plenty of Love, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Daryl called me up and said, we can't work quite what the lyrics are. Can you tell me what they are? And I went, I have no idea. I'm going to have to go and listen to the record. And I had to go and listen to the CD and write them down, and I had to email them to because they were in the studio waiting to sing it. And I went, give me 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's good.
Can you guys remember appearing on Saturday morning kids TV, playing at Link's Upper School running track?
Yes.
Yes, Lee, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
We played Somebody to Love. Somebody to Love.
Yeah.
We did.
In red cardigans.
If I remember right,
We started off with Bob Adams'
someone
World
gave
or
me
something, and he kicked it out.
Been all over this country, been halfway around the world, and they gave me a globe, and I had to kick it. It was a football, really, painted like the world, and I had to kick it into the crowd. So high tech. Yeah, we do remember Lee. Yeah. Look,
Yes.
by the way, Lee is in a band called the Shoetown Boys from
All
our
right.
town, Northampton. So hello, Lee.
And when was that? When you played at the TV show, kids TV
It
show?
would have been
81.
No, it wasn't 81.
No.
Was it? Wasn't it?
No, it'd have been about 83.
Yes.
Would it?
83.
1983.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get to the quiz. I have to hide everything here. To the quiz game, and this is when I draw a song. I know that sounds strange already, but you'll see. So I'm going to draw a song which was whether written by the Jets or it was a cover song made famous by the Jets.
Yeah. Do we have a buzzer?
Yeah. Well, you can write something down. Just don't scream.
Don't shout out.
Yeah, don't scream while you're thinking. Yeah, and just to remind you, it's pretty hard because my drawing skills are like this, and it's even worse because I only have a mouse here and not a pen. So
right.
I'm going to share the screen. I hope that works here.
So it's just like he draws it and we have to guess what the song
is.
No,
we don't.
No,
we don't to shout it out.
The crowd, the viewers.
The viewers.
You can guess, but the viewers, they can guess, and if they guess it right, the first one gets a signed book from me.
Okay.
Rock and Roll Fever with all the stories. The Jets are in there too. So
okay.
I have to send you one too, so you know what I'm writing about you. So let's see. I'll share the screen here. Okay, it should be a blank screen. That works.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start. Let's get it red color. You can make some music if you want to. Oh no, it's It's too big. It's way too big.
that was a big pencil. Sonia will be following that.
Yes.
Okay.
We have to guess what it is. They've got it. Yeah,
Oh, what's the okay? Let's see.
I'm guessing.
I'm guessing,
Right.
but
You can guess what shape this
Yeah.
is. This is already a challenge. Okay, so let's change the color to red.
what's that? I can't see them.
No, yeah.
Let's start over. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Come on, Picasso.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's better. That's better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's change colors again.
Is that a butterfly?
It could be. Okay.
Oh. What is
That's a potato.
potato?
Okay. And now maybe the clue. Let's just pick another color again. Yeah. All black.
Not grapefruit.
Oh, no. We can't say anyway.
No.
No.
Oh, I know.
So let's see. Have a look in the comments.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, well, yeah.
All right. So it wasn't too bad. We got some right answers. Let's see who is the first one. Faith Calling. Let's see. Let's just. What did you have a guess?
Yeah.
Yes.
We know.
Can we
Love makes
say-
the world go round.
Yes. So Faith
We got
Calling.
it.
Love makes the world go round. Yes.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
We nearly said hearts around the potato.
The blue potatoes, the British famous British blue potatoes. Yeah, it's the blue planet, you know. Yeah. All right. Maybe you can tell us something about the recording of "Love Makes the World Go Round," and just congratulations, Faith. That
Yeah,
was
well done,
hard.
Faith.
That was
Well
really
done.
hard, and you did really well. So let's just have a look at some other questions here. I'm sorry.
You're doing really well with that drawing to get it.
Here's some other close ones.
Yes. Yeah.
Dog, cat, mouse.
That question.
We have some more. Love makes the world go round. Love bug. Heartbeat. Heart
Oh,
potato.
Yeah, that's the winner.
Okay. I would say I love apples.
Love apple.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Okay, so love makes the world go round was one of your biggest hits. I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah.
So how did
And
how did you
again,
record it?
I think what it was, again, back in the day, we had some cassettes, cassette tapes, and there was a lot of different rock and roll records, doo-wop records, rockabilly records at the time, and that was just one that we heard by Perry Coleman. I thought, that's a pretty good song because, well, we I don't think it had key changes, but we put the key changes in to make it more exciting and just changed it to our style with a double bass rather than a Perry Como with girlies singing style,
We left the girly bit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, that was the other
Oh,
one.
that was the other
Joe's
song.
thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
different song.
Yeah.
Tone, you're a drummer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was that.
Yeah. Good.
So Faith,
Right.
just write me an email to letstalk@randyrich.de and I'll send you the book. Yeah, signed by me. And thank you all very much for being part of the show. And let's see if we have some final questions here. or maybe a comment. That's a nice comment. When I kissed my first girlfriend, we heard the song Heartbreaker.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we still play those songs now.
Yeah.
And Heartbreaker is one of the songs that always gets the crowd clapping and singing all the words. So that's nice. That's a nice feeling when you think that we it came from Ray's head, and then we all got together and recorded the song, and now people in lots of different countries are singing along with it. So it's a good feeling.
Apart from the bad point, it was his first girlfriend, which means a heartbreaker. So.
Oh, well.
Right. You never know we write that, but no, it's no. Glad you like it anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Hannick Nick Meyer.
Did you have to mime on Top of the Pops? Was that tricky to do?
There was two or three different versions of Top of the Pops. Usually, you had to go into the studio. Top of the Pops was on the Thursday.
Yeah.
We had to go into the studio on the Tuesday and re-record it, and then you would go into the studio on probably the Wednesday to film it. You would mime to everything, and then they would show it on the Thursday. Or sometimes they would have a Top of the Pops they called a live Top of the Pops, which you still mimed to your re-recorded track, but you was there on the Thursday
It was going out
as
live.
it was going out live,
Like this. Yeah.
And there was also another version which sometimes you did a live vocal on the backing track that you re-recorded. So I'm not sure if we did. We did on some television, some television shows we played live.
Yeah, we did.
And sometimes we had to do live vocals. I can't remember. Top of the Pops. I don't think we did. I think we mimed. Yeah.
So was it hard to do for you, or did it feel?
Well, they had plastic cymbals, so that was always a bit
strange.
strange.
That was strange. Yeah.
And no, you just sing along. You play along and sing along to it. It's like it'd be like anybody singing along to a song. You put your song on, you sing along to it, don't you? So
if I could remember the words.
That was the only drawback, that Bob was singing different verses to what was actually being shown.
Okay, so just to finish off with Faith says, thank you so much. I love listening. Perhaps the Jets can write the potato song next.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Love me my potato.
Yeah. Last question: can the boys do a quick rig rundown when gigging? Like
quick rig rundown, right? Okay, I do my bass gear. I use a Trace. Well, I was using a Trace Elliott RAH 1000 amp, but it's just decided to not work. So now I'm using an AH 300 amp with a 12-band graphic, two 10-inch speakers and a 15-inch speaker with a tweeter. Plus I have a double bass with magnetic pickups and a slap pickup. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I use various amps, but at the moment I'm using a Blues Deluxe, which isn't mine, which is Bob's son's actually.
Yeah.
All my amplifiers are playing up at the moment.
Broken.
They've all got things wrong with them. I've got a WEM amp. I don't know if you know those ones. They're British made amp. They're just spelled WEM. And they were around in the 60s, but they're all valve, and they've got a 15-inch speaker, and it actually sounds really, really nice. But that buzzes. That's got a buzz. I've got another. I use a PV Classic 50 with two 12s valve amp. That's nice sound too. And then I've got an 80s PV amp. It's called an Encore 65. It looks like a PV Bandit, but it's not. It's all valve amp, and that's playing up. And
it doesn't work. It's got loads.
Those are non-working ones.
And so at the moment, when we go to festivals, basically whatever amplifier's there, we send a rider saying either Tweed reissues or Fender Twin Reverb or anything. I can work with any of those really.
Anything that works.
And the Telecasters that I use are what I call bitsers. They're bits of this, bits of that. And I build them myself. So they got Seymour Duncan pickups, but the rest, the bodies I got were just plain wood, and I sprayed them myself, and then I wired all the pickups up myself and put the pots in, and I've got 2 that are identical. I use one abroad and one in this country. I've got a lot of different guitars, but the one I was playing in the videos we played today is the one I use on the records, and that's an ESP Telecaster from the 80s, and but it's got an original 1965 Telecaster pickup in the bridge, so it's a pre-CBS pickup in there. So I don't like taking that out in case it gets pinched, because I couldn't replace it. So I've got various other guitars as well that I use on the albums. I've got Gretsch, Tennessean, and things like that. But I've always been a Telecaster player, really, because it just fits right for me. I get a lot of different sounds out of it, and it just suits me, really.
Yeah, I never saw you with another guitar than a Telecaster. Yeah, and Tony.
We played in the Comets band once.
Oh yeah.
We had to play with the Comets, and I played double bass with the Comets, and Ray played guitar, and that sounded really good.
Yeah, that was a Les Paul. That was an Ibanez Les Paul, like an Ibanez Les Paul copy.
It sounded just like the record.
Yeah, because it's got the humbucker pickups in, so it overdrives the amp in the right way. So I used that for that show, and it went really well. Good, yeah.
So
mine's pretty easy. 5-piece Pearl kit with Sabian cymbals. There you go.
It's got 2 drumsticks.
Carbon fibre drumsticks.
It's got 2 maracas.
Oh, and some maracas. Black ones. There you go.
No buzzing with your sound. No buzzing with the drum kits. No loose valve.
What?
You used to.
The old kit was a Premier.
Was it?
Yeah, it's Pearl now.
So that's it. Yeah. Really.
Very boring, really.
Okay. So, Andy, asks, which country would you like to visit where you haven't been before yet?
Oh.
We've been to
a lot. We've been to a lot.
Every country.
Maybe Canada. I've never been to Canada.
I have.
Never been to Canada. Maybe Mexico would be good. Argentina, maybe. So we could do Brazil and Argentina, maybe. Yeah. We've been to Brazil, but maybe we could just pop down and do. We've done. Obviously, we've done a lot in Scandinavia, all over Europe. We've toured Japan. We've been to Brazil. Obviously, Las Vegas. We played 3 times. We played in Memphis. We've been to.
Done any Middle East?
No.
I
can't think where else. Did I say Japan? Oh, we've been to Moscow. Yeah. All around Europe,
Lithuania. Yeah. No,
we've been everywhere. Yeah.
The Bahamas.
Oh, Australia. We've been to Australia.
We want to go to the Bahamas.
Japan. Did I say Japan?
Yeah, you did say Japan.
New Zealand. We'll do
no,
New
we haven't
Zealand.
been,
we haven't been there.
Oh, New Zealand. There you go.
So maybe close. And Big Sandy says hi as well.
Oh,
hey.
So maybe close with funniest tour story that you have.
Oh.
All over the world.
Oh, funniest story.
I know we're going to sit here for another 2 hours. One.
No, when we was a 4-piece band called Brad, Bob, Ray, Andy, Dave in the early days, I remember when I was the guitarist, we was on a stage that was about, I don't know, 1 meter high or something. And I remember I was doing my Chuck Berry duck walk backwards. And what I didn't know was our bass player was standing there going, and I was reversing. I didn't know, and he nearly fell off. It was like, oh, and he fell off the edge.
Right on the edge of the stage. Going,
there was another one when we was called
the
Jets.
You get this going now.
There was another one called when we was the Jets, and we played in. It was a real rough pub called the Black Bull in Lewisham, in London, South London.
I used to live in Lewisham.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think it's gone now, but it was the Black Bull in Lewisham, and we played there. And they'd made a stage with crates, beer crates, with wood on the top. Ray was on the drums. Of course, our bass player, electric bass, with his legs open, was going. and the stage was doing this, moving apart. Next thing we know, Ray had gone boom,
Through the stage.
through the stage. We carry on playing, and then Ray comes up holding this drum.
Never missed a beat. Never missed a beat.
That was quite funny.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
A few
there's
good
been
funny ones.
there's been lots really. There was one we did a live television show. It was live called Tiz Was.
Oh,
It was on Saturday morning.
Oh, God,
And I'll tell you who was in it. It was a company called Sally James and Den Haggerty, who was with the Darts. He's now in.
He was he the bass singer?
Bass singer with the
Bass
white
singer,
head.
yeah.
He was one of the people in the show. Well, he was crazy. And I remember. And anyway, we was playing Love Makes the World Go Round live, and it got to the solo, and then all the children in the audience have been given party poppers, you know, and they all went, and all the poppers went all over Ray's strings.
Just as I went into the solo. I was like, into the solo, yeah, and they went, and my hand was just like covered in all these things. And I was going,
so I was going, whoa, yeah, rock and roll, yeah. Whoa.
We were actually playing live, so we had the amps there and everything. It's like, couldn't hide it. And it was like, worst possible time. Just into the solo, and then that covered my hand with all these strings. Oh, unbelievable. And then at the end of the song, when we stopped, they had a thing called a grunge pit. Gunge pit. And it was all filled with this Irish slimy stuff. And Den come over, grabbed hold of Bob and threw him in the pit. And Bob had still got his bass in there. Threw him over the side into the
we could probably talk for hours if we
had
time. There's lots. We should write a book.
Yeah, maybe we'll write a book as well.
All right, so thank you so much, guys. I had so much fun talking to you, and thanks for all the viewers. Thank you for your questions and your donations, and I hope I didn't miss any. It's hard to keep up.
Actually, just before we go, we know that you've had Daryl on your show. Good friend of ours, good friend of yours, great guitarist. Like Ray said, when we was all in lockdown, we did the isolation sessions, recorded in separate houses. We did an Isolations 1, which was just us three, and then we did an Isolations 2 with Daryl doing 6 songs as well. And both of those CDs and DVD are both available at the Jets website as well. So for people who like Daryl as well, check that out. It's worth checking out. We were really pleased with how it turned out. So
he speaks very highly of you. I think you're his favorite bands, and you get along very well. And
we get along well with Daryl. Yeah. It's a good friend.
Yeah. But believe it or not, I will see Daryl the first time. Like we will talk the first time live ever this year, coming in Waldorf at the Waldorf Weekender. Daryl Hyam is playing. Yeah, I mean we appeared at the same shows, but we never actually like the same date or the same. It was never time. We never talked in person, only the internet. So just amazing.
It'll be good.
So, not from Birmingham.
No.
I saw
Northampton.
Yes, I saw something. Sometimes you think you're really special. Saw that on Instagram. I'm not sure if you're doing your Instagram post yourself or not.
Someone did a post. Yeah, someone put something like, "Oh, you think you're really special? You're just has-beens," which we thought was quite funny, really, considering next year will be 50 years.
we haven't been around long. We're still doing it.
Newcomer.
Someone must like us somewhere.
That's how I treat like comments like that as well. I just make fun of it, you know. And when I got the 15 rockin' years, I thought, well, 15 years is quite a lot. Did you think back then like you would hit 50 one day? Or?
No, we put 40 rocking years.
We did 40 rocking years.
We did a CD on 40 rocking years, and now we'll have to think about a 50.
No, we didn't. I mean, when we turned professional in 1980, we didn't really expect it. But like I say, once we learned from the industry, we learned how if you can do it professional and do it well, you can entertain lots of different audiences with rock and roll. You can take rock and roll to a lot of different audiences.
We have to adapt. We always adapt to the show.
Yeah.
And that gave us the longevity that we could play lots and lots and lots of different venues rather than just playing rockabilly or rock and roll venues. We could play, high society balls in London and still play rock and roll to them, and we could work as a professional band, and we're still working all over the world. So yeah, it's good.
You played Spain last weekend, yeah.
We did.
We was in Madrid on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was a good gig. Good gig. Yeah, met some good people. Good.
Yeah. Very, very packed venue. You couldn't move. We couldn't get to the stage.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll let you go. Thanks again. Had a great Sunday night, and wish you all the best for your career.
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I hope there's a new record coming out when you actually hit 50 next year, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I hope to see you again soon on a festival somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Thanks everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
thanks,
everyone.
thanks to Pete. He was a great help. He was very professional in setting this up.
Oh yeah.
no
The office. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll pass it on.
Okay.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.